parents, I'm so glad you've stopped by. As you can see, most of the resources I have here are for your children, but I also wanted to create a space for all of you and a place to share links and resources and then some things from me directly. So today my video is going to be about supporting children who are worried about coronavirus, but also just talk about regulating those bigger emotions right now, because I do know I've heard from so many parents the children aren't necessarily talking about coronavirus or talking about being worried about coronavirus, but there's just a heightened sense of emotions right now. I have talked to a lot of parents who've talked about increased tears in the house, their own tears and their children's tears. I know we've definitely experienced that in my house. So the first thing I want to say to all of you is that that's normal. These heightened emotions, heightened worry and anxiety is really normal during this time. It's a new situation for all of us, and that sort of unpredictability can be anxiety inducing. But there are several things we can do and work together to help ourselves and our children deal with these worries that we're experiencing. So today I'm going to talk about some prevention strategies that we can all use. The first thing is really that adult perspective of being mindful of what our children are listening to and seeing. So it's to limit news consumption. First, I would say for adults as well, to be mindful of how much you're reading and pay attention to how it affects your mental health. But as for our children, it can look like they are not listening, that they are not watching, but I can tell you that students in my office so many times talk to me about movies they've seen, news that they've heard that scared them, and they don't want to let their parents know. Maybe they sort of like being a part of it, they thought it was okay, and then later it really scared them. So whether it's radio or TV, or even I know at my house we've had to check ourselves just talking about news we've read in front of the children, to just wait until they are asleep or they're completely out of ear reach talking about the news, because they may hear something that they don't understand and it's scary. The second thing, routine and boundaries. So we know that kids love routines and boundaries. It helps them to feel safe. So the school's provided a lot of amazing routines. Those are my children. A lot of amazing routines, ideas of how we can run our day. And I think those are really helpful. I think as far as adhering to those routines, it kind of goes back to where I started, that so much depends on each individual family. So what I would encourage you to do is to be flexible, and then to also include your children in the process of changing your schedules and routines and what works for your family. So for instance, in the morning, you might introduce, here's what we're going to do today. I know some of you have it written on a whiteboard. Some people have sent me pictures. They've done it for the whole week. They've done Excel sheets, they've handwritten it. But to go over it in the morning, each day, here's what to expect. And then at the end of the day, to ask them what went well. What went well today? What didn't go well? What do you think would make this better tomorrow? So be flexible for change. I've been surprised just with my office hours where they are and my work schedule. It worked really well for us yesterday to do work from 4 to 5. The kids had taken a break. They were really refreshed and ready to sit and learn. So that's where you need to have that flexibility of what works for your individual family based on the parent's schedule and your individual children and how much help they need. As far as boundaries, when I think of boundaries right now, we talked about children being worried about heightened emotions, and we want to have our children feel validated with their emotions. But no matter what situation kids are in, I do tell parents that you keep boundaries. So that's more thinking about children being disrespectful or defiant, refusing to follow the rules. So the way to sort of address that is, I know you're really upset right now, but you can't talk to me that way. Or I know you're feeling really frustrated. Things are hard right now. This is really different, but we still expect you to contribute to the family and finish your chores. So it's that mix of that kind and firm, validating how they're feeling, but also holding pretty firm with your boundaries and expectations that you normally would have in your house. And that really creates a sense of safety for children. So we don't want a coping mechanism to be acting out. And if we don't put the boundaries back in, that can easily become a coping mechanism. Being open and honest. So if kids have questions about the coronavirus, it's perfectly fine to answer them. I always recommend with something bigger like this, ask children what they know first. So tell me what you've heard about the coronavirus. What do you know? And you may discover that they have a pretty good idea of what it is, or that they have a lot of misinformation they put together from different sources. So to clear things up, keep answers just clear and concise based on science. We've posted several things about how to talk to your children about the coronavirus. And I think that those are really helpful as far as providing guidelines for parents. I'm going to move on. So another prevention strategy, and again, this is another great one for adults and children, is setting goals and intentions during this time. So tracking those goals, having a visual of those goals so that kids can work towards them and that we can work towards them, like having it on the refrigerator where everyone can see it. Make sure that they're realistic and that they're within their control. So these goals could be academic. It could be a reading goal. It could also be, we want kids out and active. So it could be for free throws. Could be a goal towards free throws, a goal towards reading, a goal towards acts of kindness towards people in the family. It could be a chore, so it's a great time. So many people have told me their kids are doing extra chores right now. So to add in allowance, if you haven't done that already, and have them working towards something desirable that they want. You can show them a picture on Amazon or any other site and have them work towards that goal. A visual reminder of making progress is something they can make on their own, or that they can track on their own, no matter their age, coloring in a box. It can be a calendar where they mark something off every day. So let them take ownership over that. And I think that sort of steady progress towards a goal is just a healthy thing to have right now. The last thing I want to talk about is coping skills. And I think I'm going to do another short video at a later time on responsive strategies. So these have all been preventative strategies, but responsive strategies will deal more directly on what happens when these big emotions come up or when anxiety is really present. But the preventative strategies, with the coping skills, just focus on breathing. Focus on showing them, modeling what it looks like to stop, to take a deep breath when you feel overwhelmed. If you already have a mindfulness practice you're doing, that's fantastic. It can be short. It can be 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes at the end of the day. If you're not doing that, maybe that's something you want to look into. There are a lot of great apps. I love the Calming app, and there are several others I recommend if you want to reach out to me and hear about those. But realizing that people have a lot on their plate, just breathing, stopping to take deep breaths, modeling what that looks like. And that can provide a real sense of security for children, seeing you model taking deep breaths, doing it together, and providing that sort of mantra that I can control my breathing. So that becomes a little bit of that positive self-talk that a child can say to themselves. I can control my breathing. There's something I can do to get myself back to calm if I become dysregulated. For all of you amazing parents, you're doing so much, and I want you to remember to take care of yourself, to prioritize self-care, to walk away if you're frustrated, to put down the academics. If it's not working out, take a break. Wellness and well-being need to be prioritized right now. And whatever that looks like for you, find time to get away for a moment, to take a deep breath, to get out in nature, to ground yourself. If our cups aren't full, can't fill another person's cup. So take care of yourself. And then for your children, really the most important thing is that they feel loved and seen and supported and cared for. And that's really what they need. I'm so happy you stopped by. I hope this was helpful. And like I said, I'll do another video at a later time on some of those responsive strategies. If you have other ideas or suggestions, again, reach out to me via email. It's freemanc@gosaints.org. I hope you have a good day. Bye-bye.